What's going on? Big A coming at you with another video. And this week, just like everyone else in the world, I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. In fact, I watched it yesterday night. Did it all in one sitting, although there were many breaks. And this video is my thoughts on the movie. So I saw the original Justice League when it came out in 2017. It was a strange film. Obviously, you had the whole Henry Cavill CGI mustache removal thing going on. Joss Whedon came in and finished off the movie because unfortunately Zack Snyder's daughter passed away. She committed suicide, which is very sad indeed. And the film came out and it did look like a bit of a Frankenstein's monster because there were things that just seemed so out of place for the movie and the tone was kind of all over the place. Steppenwolf was redesigned. He looked different from how he did when we saw him in like whatever hologram form at the end of Batman v Superman. And so yeah, the film came out, people were kind of iffy about it, and then you had the whole release the Snyder Cut movement take place, where people would constantly hashtag that they wanted to see Zack Snyder's version of the movie. Time went by, and then next thing you know, HBO MAX is a thing, it's a streaming service, and then they announced that they're letting Zack Snyder finish his version of the movie. And yeah, everyone's been waiting for it. It's come out now, and yeah, my initial thoughts of it are there is too much exposition, like way too much exposition. Like things are being explained that, for me, as someone who reads comics and watches the animated shows that are based on these things, it just spent way too long explaining them, and I get why, but I think they explain things so much and there's so much kind of exposition needed for the film that normal people who aren't into this kind of stuff, I think they'd be a bit lost, to be honest. I feel that explaining what the mother boxes are could have been done in Wonder Woman, which came out before Justice League. There could literally have just been one scene where you see Diana like staring at the mother box, and I don't know, her mother saying something about, oh, do you remember the story of when the worlds of men, Amazons and Atlanteans came together to defeat X whatever, Darkseid 5,000 years ago, and all that kind of stuff. Literally, it'll take 2 minutes, and so by the time you come to Justice League, you've already got that information already, but this just spends so long explaining that as well. I feel like there are a lot of pointless scenes in the beginning of the film. I didn't like the Flash meeting Iris West. I felt that scene didn't do anything for the movie at all. The scene with his dad, it made sense, whereas the Iris thing, I was just like, why is this even here? It's just a waste. It's just a few minutes. It's a waste of time. Like, I think all the exposition could have been cut down and been much better. The overall tone of the film, I really enjoyed. I really liked. I felt it was consistent throughout, and I felt it was like Zack Snyder's actual vision. So that was a positive as well. Splitting it up in chapters, I don't know how I felt about that. It's weird because it's almost like a 4-hour movie, and no one's ever going to sit through this movie beginning to end in one sitting. I myself paused the movie quite a few times to, well, get a drink or go to the toilet or do whatever else. I think the mini-series idea that they had previously was a much better road to go down with this, because at least then you can watch it at your own leisure, and it's in a better format, or doing 2 movies, which was the original plan for Justice League. My only issue with that is there's so much exposition in the first 2 hours that if they split this into 2 movies, I would feel cheated that I spent money to go and see the first film, because it doesn't give you that much at all. The second half, much better, actually delivers much more development. Things move along quite at a nice pace, but everything before that, it takes quite a while to kind of like get into it all. I think people's performances were pretty good. Steppenwolf, the redesigned Steppenwolf, really good. I really liked the fact that he was quite a visceral fighter. Like, he didn't care if you were riding a horse, he'd throw you off it, that kind of thing. It was pretty cool, to be honest. And I like all the nightmare stuff in the epilogue that happened later. It's a shame that we might not get to see kind of like more of this kind of Zack Snyder-y world for Justice League, just because I think it would have led to like an interesting place, especially with the Injustice kind of style, Lois dying and all that kind of business. But yeah, overall, if I had to score the thing, I'd have to give it, for me, it would have to be a B-. I don't think this is the greatest comic book movie ever made. So I've seen some people say that online, and I have to disagree. I think it's a very well-made, solid movie, but there's some unnecessary stuff still in there. If I could do a fan edit, I would edit out all the pointless scenes and keep all the great stuff, all the good stuff, which I think it's probably half an hour worth of edits that I'd make. Like the bit with like random singing, or Aquaman's going into the water, these women, Norwegian women or Icelandic women or whatever they are, singing this song, and it's like, what is going on? Why is that in there? And they sing the song for a good 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes you could save, you know what I mean, and progress the film further along like easier. I don't know why that was in there and stuff like that. And stuff like Diana going into the tomb and then seeing the story about Darkseid coming to Earth 5,000 years ago. I was like, well, why can't she already know that information already? I'm sure her mum would have told her at some point about that, you know what I mean? Considering it was one of the greatest battles in the history of the world. So it's like, it's weird, but yeah, I'd have to give the film a B-. All the action was good, all the effects, like, I like a lot of the stuff towards the end, and the Flash had a great moment in the movie. Like, he has, I wasn't even keen on that character, but he has a scene where he literally runs so fast he rewinds time, which is dope. I love seeing that kind of stuff. I think that kind of stuff is great, but overall, I don't think it's an experience I'll repeat, and if I was to, it would be kind of a once in a blue moon thing. For me, it doesn't have a lot of rewatch value, but I'm glad that there's people that are happy with it, and you know, they finally got to see the version of the film that was intended ages ago, but we never got to see. And I'm happy Zack Snyder got to finish it and dedicate it to his daughter. I think he did a good job, but yeah, the DCEU, it needs one person to kind of lead it, because when there's too many chefs, it spoils the broth. And I think that's what happens with, well, DCEU in general. I mean, I did like Joker, I thought Joker was great, but you know, you had things like Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey, which I did not like. I just thought the story was terrible and the execution of it I didn't enjoy, unfortunately. I think there's a different version of that film that could exist that would have been better, but they didn't go down that road. But yeah, Justice League, split into like 6 parts and an epilogue. A lot of exposition, which you'll get through, and if you're a comic book person, you'll understand instantly anyway, but it just takes so long to get to the good stuff. But when the good stuff happens, it is actually good and the action is great. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Justice League. Let me know if you saw Justice League this week, what you thought about the movie, whether you think it's better than a B+, do all the things. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.